Hello, my friend. Today, I just really going to do is a couple of my lovely friends asked me to do such as how do I making decoration base for aircraft, and how do I do that. And this is I think the first production of my base, and as you can see, nothing really special at all, but as you can see, some crack holes, which is like that, and like that, and like that. And recent time, I just creating the modification 2. This is modification 1. Modification 2 is a little bit more obvious, and I think much more improved. And this is the modification 2. As you can see, there are a lot of crack holes, right? This is very abandoned aircraft feel, very old and hard damaged surface. Which I imagine that, and I think the usually the aircraft field shouldn't be like that, of course, but effectively this is much more big impact to when people see that. So that's why I did that, and I think it comes, according from the aircraft modeling background, I think the base is not so important to, usually people don't make a base, right? When you go to the exhibition or or whatever, we don't see so much, but so it doesn't need to so important to make this, but I can say when you are taking a picture or when you are look down from from your eyes to like more close shot, fuselage or fuel tanks, missiles, and whatever, when you look to see, it makes you more realistic scenery when you are seeing that. And I think it's all just comes from that kind of sense of my feelings when I want you to see more realistic sightseeing. I think this kind of creating things is more fun, right? And whatever, I just introduced you how did I do this, but it's a pretty damn easy thing, so I just introduce a little bit. So if you are happy to see, I'm very pleasure to doing this. Okay. And I can say, if you are making a base more easily, you just can prepare like sandpaper, of course. If you want to make a concrete, hardened aircraft field, you just can prepare the sandpaper, which is like very rough surface. You can just stick on, and texture it has already done. Right, and so I sometimes I just preparing this kind of stuff, If I really want to make a very simple and very clean and very well conditioned aircraft build, I just can use such kind of very easy way. Just prepare some base and just stick like using by some tapes or using by some glues and just stick on, and then paint it and do many things, right? So the first things that you need to prepare is, I think, whatever you have, you need a base, of course. And in that case, just using a very light, and you can buy in DIY shops and whatever, very easy to craft. When you see that the people are creating the building models, this is a very light and easy to cut, and easy to paint. So I just recommend you to do using this. I don't know how do I say in your country, but it's something like board. Maybe you can check in your DIY shop, and you might find a much more better way to instead of this. And I just paint. I need to prepare the texture, right? So I use this one. This is Tamiya texture paint. It is light gray, or you can use the other series, which is like, I think it doesn't recommend you to use texture paint like others. And of course you can paint directly on without using any containers, but you might need to fill in with acrylic thinner to paint more easily. But I think the original paint is very, very muddy, right? So you just can use, I think you can use the water, of course, but I can say that you need to have to wait until it get dry completely. So I think I should recommend you to use the acrylic thinner. It is very easy to dry, but at least you need 1.5 day, I think, after till it get dry completely. So it's really up to you. And actually, this is very expensive. It's $8, I think. I think $9 almost. So in my case, I built it mostly 31/32 scale. So at least I need to prepare the 300 by 300 millimeter squares base. So this is not enough amount of paint container. It just only have 100 milliliters. So what do I do there in that case is I use this one. I don't know whether you can buy in your country or not. I just using this one. Sorry for that. This is damn big. I can prepare this one first. Right? This is for just some examples, so a little bit is fine, but and I can mixed with this one. I think 40% of this one and 60% of texture paint. It's really up to you, but it's it's earning, right, amount of paint. So it's really up to you. If you don't have so much, this one, you can put some more. And mixed very well, of course. It's very nothing special at all. Mixed in with this one. And in this point, this, if I compare with mixed in with the acrylic thinner, this is much more get dry faster. You don't need to wait so long time. Especially very humid time, very rainy days. It doesn't, you don't have to, it takes a very long time to get dry completely. So, and if I mix this one, of course it painted very easily, and just paint it like that. Nothing special at all, just to paint it. Just paint it. And actually, it has it need a time to it get dry, but in my expression, as you can see, it's damaged surface. You have to do this before it get dry. I think the 70% or 80% dry. The effect should be done after it get dry, and it is very hard to do this. So I think it's not so important to calculate the dry time, but it also has very take care of the time. So, and according from my expression, if I put in this one very much, it very easy to paint, but the texture is very flat and nothing interesting. But if I put only this one, it's very hard to paint it. You cannot control the very flat surface. See, it's very hard to try to get the surface very flat, right? So it's really up to you. I think 40% of this one, the 60 or 50-50, is whatever you can try in your favorite way. So, but I can say that if you are making a very interesting surface, the surface, it shouldn't be flat so much. A little bit upside down is much more interesting, and the effect is very easy to do this. Okay, and this is a very simple way, but it has time to it get dry completely, right? So I just did some this like that. And try to make a little bit rough surface. If you are making very well-conditioned aircraft surface, aircraft field background, it doesn't need to do this, but at this time I just doing like that. As you can see, a very obvious, very rough surface. It's it's very seems to like water surface, right? But actually it's not. Okay. think anyhow, you need to wait until it get half dry. I think in the summertime, I think mostly 5 or 6 hours to wait until it get half dry. I cannot do right now, but I need to be, I need to it dry. But as I can show you, how do I do aftermath? When it dry half, not completely dry, I can pick the very rough surface, take that, how do I say, but take this off using by very sticky, very sharp pins, using by, and you just I can say that damage. I can express the damaged surface. Of course, it is very now it's very fresh surface, so I can do this. I cannot do this, but after it get dry, not completely, but I think the 80% of dry, it's very wet, not wet, but very easy to take this off, right? So I just pointed some very amount of the paint area, take that off, and after finish you doing this, you can use like the cover with the surfacer. Spread on it and makes the surface very steady and tight. I mean it fixed, very covered with the very strong lacquer surface. And then you just can start to paint, which is like a gray or a little bit sandy gray or whatever. You can put according from your images, which is not. It is not strictly. I can say you should using this is kind of color or whatever. I know you can do whatever you want. But one thing that I want to really say is I just can tell you you shouldn't using same color as when you are using aircraft paint. For example, if I using 308 to aircraft paint, the base color shouldn't be the painted as the same color as 308. You should change the number of color. Maybe you can use trace some kind of different color. You can use some kind of color like this 338 or whatever. I think you can use the 73, or you can just start to mix in with the white and black. The important point is not the different. It's not the same filtered colors. You just you should put the different tone or different type or different taste of the gray color. If you are putting, if you want to really make the concrete surface, it makes you more, separate feeling of, if you put the same color, I think that your aircraft model shouldn't, it doesn't seem to be more well decorated, right? I don't know, really, it's a very hard time. So simply I just can say is this is not a diorama base. This is for decorational things. This is really pretty optional stuffs to creating the basement. So in that case, the most important things is it makes the basement, the base makes your model craft more obvious, right? It looks much better if you do the very it's very kind of feeling of the sense, so very hard to say, but you know, I think if I compare with the aircraft models, what you build, or the base, I definitely choose the aircraft model. So the basement shouldn't be more, shouldn't well decorated, right? Just a simple, and it's a side. It should be, right? And then the things that after you paint it by the lacquer, usually I use I'm using by some enamel color put on this, always doing the same things. Or you can put some engine oils to spit on the surface, which it makes me more realistic surface. And if I making our 300 by 300 square space, I think the most of the surface can show you. I think the aircraft is much bigger than that, so it doesn't see so much. But so this is pretty easy. But the one thing that you should mention about that is just the choosing of the basement color shouldn't be the same. And once you are mastered in this way, you might make this not only the basement. You can put standard very old concrete buildings or whatever. You can do the many ways. This is I think this kind of techniques is basically comes from the AFB background. So once you master this way, you can use the many ways, I think. But in aircraft's background, I can just say this is simply not important basement project. So it's just for decorate, right? But I think if you are making a big diorama, which is contain the aircraft model, I think you should do the much more better way. But this is it's not obvious, so you don't have to think so much. Just to take this off a little bit. Not effective right now, but I think the 100% I can say that after it gets more dry, their effect is more accurate, so it doesn't have to be worried so much. But if the surface is very very thin and flat, you shouldn't do this, because it may damage to the cardboard like that. Easy to make a hole. So I think a little bit makes that like a mount. The treatment should be aimed to like that kind of surface. So just it's really up to you. So that's why I just painted as very roughly and very upside down or whatever. If you paint it so flat and thin, the effect will not be more good, right? And I think this paint is mostly acrylic, I think. Not a lacquer, of course. Just it can mix with the water, so it isn't a lacquer type of the paint. So I don't know exactly what it is, but this is ugly. Alright, maybe I can show you the other hand, the result, but right now it's just that's it. So see you then.